Hi, I'm back. I'm Jill with Copycat Crafts by Jill. And there's Dolly introducing herself. um, Today I have a one sheet wonder. I posted it on Instagram, so you may have already seen it, but it's just this little, I guess it would be a little fold out that was made with one sheet. So it has two pockets, one on each side, identical pockets. Then I did put in a little tablet that does flip up, and it has a pocket underneath the tablet. The tablet can be taken out and replaced, and I did put a little tab on it that was not from this one sheet. There's also a little pocket right there. I just wanted to use that little scrap up. And the closure part was not from the piece of paper. I just added that as the closure. So it's one piece of paper. I have this one printed on both sides. And my sheet is not even a full 8.5 by 11, which is what it is, the normal size. It's just cardstock. But mine, I had to trim off the border, so mine ended up being 10 1/4 by 7 1/4. Yeah, 7 1/4. So 10 1/4 by 7 1/4. But whatever size your paper is, even if it's 12 by 12, you can obviously still do this. And if you have a 12 by 12 or something slightly larger, you may be able to squeak in an extra pocket or some cool bits and bobs. Since mine's so small, I can make what I've made. So let's get started. First, I decided what side I wanted inside, what side I wanted outside. And I also, because I'm cutting it, I have to decide if I want more the top portion or the bottom portion. I usually pick the top portion, and I will do that on this one. So I want 4.5 inches cut the long way. I guess I can't get it all in at one time, but we want ours to be 4.5 inches, and we're cutting off the bottom 2 and something, not sure, but as long as we have our 4.5, we're going to continue to knead this. I'm not going to stop to ink, but when I made my first one, I used Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo, only because my paper I feel looks the best with Vintage Photo. So that's why I used Vintage Photo on this particular paper. But anyway, so now this will be the piece that we're going to make into it. And how I did it was, if I want this to be my flap that opens, I want it to be a little shorter. I don't want it to come all the way out to the edge. You can spin it around and see if you want it to be like that. I just want to be conscious where the top of the head is at, because I would prefer, now that I scalped him, to cover that. So I'm going to go this way. And I just eyeball it. I honestly eyeball it. I decide about where I want this piece. I keep the bottom straight. I keep tapping it on the bottom, and I just sort of mark it where I want it. Boom. So now that I have here, I want to make sure that this folds about there and folds straight. I'm going to pick the bottom to line it up. That way if I have to trim any little bits off, I can only have to trim off of one end. I do want to leave a tiny little space. I don't want my paper edges to run into the other paper edge, if that makes sense. See? That's just preference. You can fold it as tightly as you want it. Now, so far, the other two that I've made, I've had to trim off. You can maybe see it better here. And I've used this to do that. You may not have to if you're better at it than I, but I do. Then I like mine, the corners round, just on the flap. So I'm gonna round it. I'm picking the middle, but on one of the ones I made, I used the largest one, and on one of the ones I used the littlest. So it doesn't really matter. You do what you want to do. Also, I apologize if you can hear my heater coming on. It's very loud in this room, so I'm sorry if you hear that. Okay, so far this is our piece that we have to use. We can use either side, except I do try to perhaps not use that. So I would use it like that. It could also be part of the center. It just depends where you want to use it. This is kind of where I just keep guessing. I think, though, I'm going to, and you can actually use that and that, just not that part. So you can just decide now to make it easier. I believe I'm just going to use this side, and that way it's a little easier. Also, you don't have to have your pocket up that high. You just don't want to trim it all the way across here, because then you're dictating every pocket you have then has to be thinner. And you don't have to do a slanted pocket. I did a slanted pocket on both sides. You do not have to do that. You can do a straight pocket. You can do a pocket this way on both of them. Your little folio, you do it the way you would like it. But I'm going to, just so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing, I'm going to put some ink on here so you can see what I'm talking about. Now you can see my lines. So I can do it there, I can do here, I can do it in the center. I think I'm going to cut the center one first. Now I like to keep this one at least at like a 1/16 on both sides, a 1/16 short, because I'm going to have a little pocket on this side and the pocket here, and I want a tablet, so I just don't want my pocket infringing on me folding it up. So to get my measurement, I put it in between and I mark it. Now I cut it right away, that way I know how much I still have to work with. So I'm gonna first make sure can see my mark right there. Sometimes I lose it. So I'm just going to put it right there. All right. So now this will be my bottom pocket, but it also does get cut. And I can turn it this way. It still will get cut because this piece is going to be, why do I keep putting this away? It's going to be this flap and the pocket. So in order to not necessarily cut one of those in half, I'm going to cut in between them. So I might as well do that right now. I'm not measuring it. I'm strictly picking where to cut it by the little half labels on there. So one of these will be my bottom pocket. One of these will be the top. For this one, the top, I'm also going to round these corners, and I'm going to use the same medium as I did. And that will be my top. Down here, you can cut a little round notch out of it. So I'm not going to do any, I'm not going to worry about super, whoop, where am I? I just want to get close. So if this is center, again, I'll probably not get it close. I sort of have a little center mark in there, and I eyeballed that as well. So the chance of any of this really being center, I thought it was a circle, so I didn't think, it was like, well, how crooked can it get? It's a circle. But as it turns out, it can get still somehow crooked. Okay. So that would be down here. And this is where you can decide if you want to spin it around. Now we have this left. We have to do a pocket over here and a pocket over here. So we know, let's just measure. This side is longer. So if we measured it and it came to about here, it would just pass his face. So we are going to do that. I'm going to measure, and I basically want it to come right to the edge, and I do want it to be short here, so that will be my mark. You can see it right there. So I'll put it in here and cut it. Okay. Just want to remove what little mark. Now for this one, I measure 1 inch and 3/4 of an inch. That is just what I picked. I just picked it out of my hat. So you can make any measurement you want, but I want 1 inch. So from that dot down to 3/4 of an inch. Now, I actually like to keep some of that red on there, so I'm going to do 1 inch and see if it looks okay, because I kind of want to keep the red on. That's just how I am. So it gets cut from, let's find my mark, from over here down to over here. So we will put it in upside down a little bit. I will line up my mark, give or take. Wiggle it around, call it good. And here's a piece we have left over now. So this would be our pocket, and it would fit here. Now, if you want the 2 to show, just lower the pocket. If you wanted the 2 to show, you could actually just make your pocket, you know, like that, and put another. You don't have to make a slanted pocket, but I am. All right, and then our last piece, which will come over here. And I'm going to trim from the back part off because it's going to be, as you can see, a little long over here. Whoa. So my first job will be put it where I want it and mark it where I need to trim it. I'm going to trim that off it. And depending, this may be, or this may be, can be used for the little things for up here. I would cut this in half. Let's see if it would be long enough. We only need about 1.5 inches or so. Maybe even a little less. So it'd be like that. Yes, so that would work. So we could cut this in half. That could be our little straps to hold on. Like that. Okay, so now we have all that. We have that pocket. So over here, we're going to round this corner. Oh, I could have did with that too. All right. That would have been cuter, but we're doing it this way. Again, 1 inch and 1 inch because I want it to match the other side. So it will be, this one's a little harder for me to see for some reason. I have all my lights on. Okay, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch. Have to make that one hard or I won't see it. All right. So now we cut off from up here to down here. So we're going to put that up. See how that looks. Adjust it a hair. We got our last piece. So now we have that and that and that and that. We also have our 2 pieces. You don't have to put a tablet in here. You can still make it a flip up and put in a tie thing, or just leave it as is. You don't have to put a tablet in there. But I got some paper together, and because I didn't want to take the time to keep stopping. Yes, Dolly. Are you helping me? Are you helping? Okay, enough help. Yes. Am I doing it correctly? Am I? Good. This one I've already inked. So I have all my pieces. I have all my pieces. And I dug out a little tab. I'd like to put another tab on mine. What's the matter, Dolly? What am I doing wrong? What? Here's my little strips. And I already decided where I wanted my holes. Once I put my holes in here, actually I did these first. I took my scissors and I just tried to cut off the corners. And I did it very crookedly. So that's why it's so crooked. But I picked where I wanted my hole. And I used this. And I punched through both of them at the same time. Then I measured about where I wanted them, and then I measured how far in that was and put a dot. I did the same, put a dot. Then I lined these up and drew the circle. Then I used this to make the holes in the circle. Once I had this, I put this here and drew my circles on here. Now, for me, this will be the hard part because I don't think this is going to go through all that. So I'm going to have to get out my hand one, and my hand one makes a slightly bigger hole, but that's what I'm going to have to do. And for me, which I'll show you in a second. Okay. I put all my papers together, and I just picked papers, honestly, from a scrap pile. I went in here, and then I have like a tablet like this, so I'll grab a piece of paper from here and I literally rip it close enough to the size I want it. This here was also in my scrap, which, as you can see, I ran it through and put a design on it. I just thought that was kind of pretty, so keeping it. Went through here, grabbed excuse me, grabbed out paper, not cardstock, and this was a piece left over from my last one. And over here is a small piece of tracing paper, and here's some lined paper. I just grabbed what I have and I ripped it with the ruler, and then I trimmed down to fit. I just trimmed it to fit in there. It just needs to fit in between, and we're gold. So now I can put these together. Well, almost put them together. First, I do want to pick out some brads, but I also want to pick out, did I pick gold? I also want to pick out something to back this so that as you're flipping it up, it's not going to just break right away. And on the first one, I just used some washi tape. So that's what I'm going to use here. I'm just going to use some washi tape. I have some brown. I have this numbers on it. And it doesn't, I don't really think anyone's going to see too much of it. So we're just going to use what we got. And I don't put it over the hole, but I put it right above the hole. Put it up and cut it like that. Then I just want to make sure it's completely stuck. Whoop. And go to the next one. just going to go right after the hole. I'm hoping you can see me. Right after the hole that I punched in. Of course, it always helps if I get, wow, that's it's a little tougher to rip than I thought. Okay, right above the hole, take it all the way up, trim off the rig with the leftover. Okay, then we'll just go over it with this. But again, you can use, if you have fabric tape, thinner fabric tape, that would be great. And now we have that. Since I picked that, I didn't necessarily pick out a closure for this one, but this is what I used to do the closure. Yep, 1/8. I bought these a long time ago. That comes in a set of 3. They were, I say expensive. I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe $24, something, $21.95, something like that. And I really like these for setting the eyelets. They give you the size. I found the size on Amazon, so these are just, you know, from Amazon. They match the size, and the only thing is it cuts on one end, and that's, I think, why I ended up putting these away, not using them, because when I got this one, the cutting part was crooked, and I don't know if I used it a couple times and did it wrong, but you're supposed to put it down and you pull it. See, it's like a slinky kind of, and you put this end, the sharp end, that's what makes the hole. You put that down, and then when you pull this up and let it go, and it puts a hole in it. And I had a marble, or granite, I should say, it was granite, square granite, and that's what I was using it on, and somehow the end has got all messed up, so now I can't really make a hole with this end. But I don't need that. I have so many things to make holes. I don't need to do that. Setting them. This has never worked. It's been broke since I got it. I didn't realize it was broke until far too late to try and return it. So I got brand new square things and replaced them, but it's not the square things. It's the top or bottom, whichever way you hold it. This one never clicks in. It does not tighten in, and it wibbles and wobbles. Always has, and this one just has never worked. So this I love. I really, really love this. It comes with one smaller and one bigger than this. Doesn't matter, it comes in a set of 3, and they do have other sizes in a set of 3. I'm going to look into even getting them because I really like this. And I'm going to use this tonight so you can hear. It is loud. So if you have a baby sleeping in your room with you, you're not going to want to use this, but it's not that loud, but it's not that not loud. All right. So now we have our pieces there. And we're going to, I think what I'm going to do is decide where I need this, and then I'll just bend them. I won't need this. I'll just bend them. Let's not complicate things. Correct? Correct. Okay, so you can put a hole protector in if you would like. I have a whole drawer. I'm getting a little worried because I use these to death. I love these, and when I don't have a million sitting in there, I do start to worry. But I'm going to try a bigger one. and you can glue it, but honestly, if you don't have to glue it. That way, if this you don't have to glue it. There's no need to glue it. It's in there. It's protecting. Okay. Just want everything set, and then I just get my nail in there if I can. Okay. Should have picked one of my longer ones. Then I always put it down and press. Okay. Let's do the next one. Another one. Any protection is better than no protection. All right. Let's get this. Put it about where we want it. Press them. Now, if you want to dent them, now would be the time to take a plier and squish them a little bit. This is where I'm just going to bend them over like this, because that is what gets glued like that. So I can take these off and stand up. That is what gets glued like that. Just gonna okay. Let's glue that down. This bottle is so empty, I don't know where the glue keeps coming from in here. There's also been times that I've used thin pieces of material, either with this or without the paper, and just use the material. So you can just do whatever works for you and whatever you feel you want to do. Just going to pick that up, press that down. Okay. While that is setting, make sure we have the right pocket in the right area. And I'm only going to glue 3 sides. I want 2 sides, I'm sorry. I want 3 sides open. So I'm only gluing down here and down here. So we'll get to that. I have a brand new bottle of glue, and I kind of can't wait to start. I even jumped the gun and opened it, and I have it sitting here waiting to pick up where this one leaves off, and it just won't empty. It just doesn't end. It's the bottle of always glue. Like, it just doesn't stop coming out. Okay. Now, the same with this. I'm only going to glue here and up here. So just the 2 sides. There we go. Down. There we go. I think these are so cute, and I love putting a little writing area. little tablet. Okay, this is the middle pocket. So of course we're going to glue the 3 sides, and you can put it whichever way you want it. Which is what's kind of nice when you pick paper and print it on both sides. I don't have to worry about covering it with paper, or can just make what I want to make. Okay, make sure I'm not in the way of anything. There we go. There we go. Now, on this is the spot that when I wanted to use up the largest, oh, of course, the largest triangle, I just wanted to use it up and stuck it there. However, since then, I got what I feel is a slightly better idea. Before I get too far, I think I want to put my little, tab on it. So I could have put it on before, but forgot about it, and just gonna put it on now. Let's see, shimmy it where we want it. All right. There we go. Just want to put a little bit of protection under there so it doesn't squirt out onto my, there. Now we're going to leave that to dry because I want to show you, these are my bags of, probably just take a couple out so I'm not blinding everyone. These match the kit, the papers that I got, which are from Etsy, Marley Design, and I got the background papers. I got the pockets and tag, and then I also got like small ephemera and stuff. So I got all 3, and that's what I was going through to make the closure on this one. I picked a tag and just bent it over, and before I did that I put in a piece of a thin elastic, which I just cut. It comes like this at Walmart for, you know, $2.50. You get a small roll of it, and I'll just measure about what I have here, and I'll show you how I did that. Okay, so it's that plus an inch plus an inch. Okay. But you can put any closure. It doesn't have to be one like this. For this one, though, I might use, I also have from this another kit from Marley Design, which I really like. Oh, which I really like. But you certainly don't need these to make any background. If you have 12 by 12, there's probably more than enough in one sheet of 12 by 12 to even decorate. Not sure where that one goes. So I'll just move some of these because I'm going to pick one of these for the closure. I just have to decide which one I want. If I close it, and I go like that, I'm going to bend it unless I know I'm going to use it. That might look a little too big. That might be too plain. We even have these fake. Oh, I print on the back of all these. I just print a plain crinkle, like paper bag look. That way they can be journaled on or whatever. That's just what I like to do. Maybe I'll use something that matches like this. And I just figure about where I want it. I fold it. Then let's get all this out of our way. Oh, it's over here. Okay, so what I need to do is kind of find the center because I'm not very good at that. So right about here. So right about there is where we want to make our hole. Yeah. Now for this I will use, and I will glue. I think I might need a smaller one. You might want, it's the same size. Why did it look smaller to me? I don't know. So you can put one on the top like this, and you can also put one on the underneath if you want. But my eyelets have a very small shank. Is that what you call that? A shank? A tail? I don't know. But it goes on like that. Now, you turn it upside down, and you take your tool. You use the side that does not cut holes. You use the smooth side. And you have to make sure you have the right size. You put that little pointy but rounded point into the back of the eyelet, into the shank of the eyelet, and then you hold it there. Try to hold it straight. I'm a good one to talk. And you lift up and let it go. So you can hear how loud it is. Now, you can do that until it's flat enough for your liking. And the higher you pick it up, that's flat. The louder it gets, obviously, but the higher you pick it up, the more oomph when you flatten. And that is what that is what I do, and I like it. I only did it so you could hear it is loud. When I'm here, I will use this. When I'm videotaping, I will try not to use this, but I do love it. That is my favorite. Then I put both ends through here, which it's a tight fit. It's a very tight fit, but we try to make it work. Took me quite a while the last time. Well, but it does go through eventually, like that. Then once it's through, we kind of even them out. I said about an inch, so it's a little bit more than an inch. Okay, about like that. I can trim it. before I secure it. I just want to make sure it's kind of close. Okay, it's a little longer, so I can pull it yet. Now you can knot it, but then it leaves a big knot, which we don't want. So I am going to trim it a little. It does take a while when you glue it, but I did glue mine down with this type of glue. Whoop, just cleaning the end. Okay, so I just put some zigzag glue like that. What's the matter, Dolly? Am I doing something wrong? Am I not doing it correctly? And I just sort of held it for a while. It does not have to be perfect because I am also going to put some tape over it, but I just wanted to get it kind of stuck down a little bit. So I have to hold it. You may not want to take the time to do that, but and I think even mine were still, it wasn't. Then I took this type of tape. You don't want it to go to the end because you need to glue, but you want to really crease it in there. Then I had to trim this part off because I make it too big. Okay, so you crease it in there. That will help hold it. And then it all gets glued down, so it's not... all gets glued down. And I don't like to do that until I know that that's dry, but for the sake of right now. Also, I did take my sanding block and I just went over the top of the tape a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then this is what will get glued here. Now, if you want to get real fancy, you can put 2 brads back here that match the brad here. I'm not going to do that with that one. But while this is drying, what I will do is try and put these away. I am going to pick a pocket to glue maybe in here. Now, this one had that. I prefer to maybe just pick something small, but not that, something interesting. Let me see. I have so much. I even have like ones that, you know, look like a little something. You know, these are all very cute. I think I'll use that as the ticket. Comes with these no smoking signs, but look, isn't that cute? So what can we, comes with a drawer. I thought there's a smaller drawer, but no, it's a bigger drawer. Whoop. I wanted one of the rounder top ones, but I can't find it now. So I don't know. Looks too little. How about a drawer? Could put a little pocket in this way, maybe. Or this is like where I enjoy myself. I could even, if I have them, Look at these cute little, they're smaller ones back here. Could just glue one of those in, or one of these. Oh, one of these will fit. I could glue one of those in. I think I want the bigger end to be on the bottom. Not necessarily a secret, but like that. Yeah, I'm going to glue this in like that, and then it will be a pocket that way. I like that. So that's what we're going to do. Just make sure I get enough glue on the ends for sure. Whoop, how'd I get? Not sure how I got hair on there. Dolly. It's a good thing she can't even hear me blame her for that. All right. Turn it sideways and get it down. Yeah, I like that. This gets glued like that. How can I get so full of glue? Okay. I want a good strong glue, so I'm going to use this. And I'm going to hopefully do it so that it doesn't squeak out everywhere, but I'm not promising anything. No, I can already tell that's going to squeak out. Okay. That was a little higher than I wanted it. There we go. Now I didn't glue the back in yet, just the front. And because that is a little lumpy, we're going to hold it for a couple seconds. Make sure it catches. While I'm holding that, we'll try to straighten some of that up. Make sure that caught and flip it over. Okay. For sure that's going to squeak out. Try not to let it, but I feel it on my fingers. Must have just got it on my fingers. I am messy. Okay, just hold it down for a second. No. Put this away. Okay, so we actually have like one piece left over, which I don't know about you. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't really want to put any pressure on that yet, but there you go. Ready to decorate with all kinds of cute little things. I'm just picking from here just to show. Put, do we have 4 in the back? It's supposed to be something small. Flip that up. Put that in. Right What else do we have? And that in. And then when this dries, we will put in, oh, that's a shame. It goes that way. So there you have it. Other than the decorations, it's one sheet wonder. All right. Now I have 2.5. So I'll finish this one tonight. And I don't know if I'll give these away as gifts. They also do make really cute, if you're going to give gift cards, to give an Amazon gift card and a coffee gift card and just cute little gift card holder keepsake. All right. Well, I'll let you be. I think I've held you up long enough. I hope you try one or two. If these are really nice to make when you buy a digital kit and you use it all up, but you have 1 or 2 or 3 background papers left over and you're not too sure what to do with them. A one-page wonder is the perfect thing to do with them. All right, that's it. So till I see you next time, stay creative and hugs.